Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella. Discover the dark side of love in this goth and lovely romance with Spinsterella. Get Spinsterella in paperback and e-readers at your favorite online bookseller today. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Over 100 skeletons were found inside the home of a Pennsylvania man who was accused of robbing graves.
Dozens of families continue reaching out to officials in Delaware County after numerous burial sites were broken into at the Mount Moriah Cemetery in Yeadon. The man believed to have stolen the human skulls, bones, and mummified parts was arrested nearly a week ago, and since then, dozens of families have come forward concerned about their loved ones' remains. Action News reporter John Paul, live in Yardley with one family's story this evening. John.
Yeah, Rick, so this family is from Philadelphia, but right now they're in Montreal. They heard about all this through our story, and they reached out. Now, the chief in Yeadon has been getting inundated with calls all weekend long with relatives concerned that their loved one's remains may have been stolen.
This fiend attempted to break in there. I was shocked.
Drew Techner is one of the hundreds of people who may have a relative missing from Mount Moriah Cemetery. The former Philadelphia police captain currently lives in Montreal, but learned from our coverage that the mausoleum of his relative was broken into. Francis Frank Charlton was the son of a Philadelphia city councilman and ran a coal company before he died in 1908.
My family's been buried in the cemetery for over 100 years. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen now.
People from as far away as Hawaii and California have reached out, concerned that the body of their deceased family member may have ended up inside the basement of Jonathan Gerlach in Lancaster County. Police say Gerlach broke into mausoleums and underground crypts at the Yeadon side of Mount Moriah Cemetery. Last week, they revealed that more than 100 skeletons were found in various states of decay inside of his basement and a storage unit. They believe he was selling them online.
My weekend was essentially answering emails to loved ones that were worried about their family members.
The Yeadon police chief, Henry Giamarco, didn't get much time off this weekend. He was busy answering more than 60 messages from people who have loved ones buried at Mount Moriah Cemetery.
It's important. If I had a loved one like that I was worried about, I'd want to know. And so that's why we made sure we got back to everybody, and we're still doing it.
Yeah, now as for Jonathan Gerlach, he was supposed to have a preliminary hearing on January 20th, but Rick, we've learned that has now been pushed back. We don't have a new date just yet. He's facing more than 500 charges. We're live tonight in Yeadon. John Paul, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
All right, John, thank you.
Now, according to reports, Jonathan Christian Gerlach of Epta, Pennsylvania, is accused of robbing graves at the Mount Moriah Cemetery. And according to reports, police caught Jonathan Christian Gerlach in the act of robbing a Mount Moriah burial monument when they arrested him and took him into custody. And when they took him into custody, they found him in possession of a burlap bag containing the mummified remains of 2 small children, 3 skulls, and other bones. And after taking him into custody, they then executed a search warrant for Gerlach's house in Epta, Pennsylvania, where they made the disturbing discovery where they found 100 remains of human bodies in the home and 8 additional skeletons in a nearby storage unit. Now, according to reports, the police believe this to be a horror movie come to life. However, it looks like this was some sort of very disturbing business that Jonathan Gerlach was in, because according to these reports, he was also on social media promoting the idea of selling these human remains that were in this cemetery as skulls and other body parts online as part of a disturbing online business. Now, on his Facebook and Instagram, he has usernames like Dead Shit Daddy and has himself in pictures of himself with 100 images of skulls appearing to be human skulls, and captions indicating that these bones were for sale. Now, after being taken into custody, Jonathan Gerlach is being charged with 100 counts of abuse of a corpse, 100 counts of theft, 26 counts of burglary, and 26 counts of desecration of a public monument, and is currently being held in jail on $1 million bail, where they're waiting to put him on a preliminary hearing on January 20th. Now, the police are seeing this as a very disturbing, isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the disturbing behavior of this Jonathan Christian Gerlach, and I don't think he's a Christian in any way, shape, or form, it definitely fits within the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that this man was a man who was deeply in crisis, because only a person with no care for human life would look to go to a grave and basically desecrate a person's final resting place on this earth in order to go out here and make money at the expense of the dead. Now, this is a very sick and twisted individual as I see it, because he basically, again, went to this graveyard, which according to some reports people say was abandoned, and had no regard for the dead whatsoever. No, had absolutely no regard for the dead in their final resting place. No, all he was thinking about was his disturbing of viewpoints as related to him having power as a man. The thing that gave him power was being able to go and say that he could actually go into these graves and basically take these human bodies out of their resting places in this graveyard that had been allegedly abandoned. I don't believe it was abandoned, because again, when it comes down to a grave, there were many people who said that they had family members buried there for generations, but this man didn't regard any of these people's lives. No, didn't regard any of these people's lives in his quest to gain power for himself. And that's what this guy really was about when he was going to this burial ground, which is considered the country's largest burial ground, and the place that, again, is a 160-acre landmark where people have been buried for over 200 years. This guy basically, he got a rush or a thrill from going to these graves, going into people's final resting places, going into these mausoleums, prying them open with crowbars, and then taking their bodies out of their final places and in these sealed vaults and mausoleums. And basically, as he opened these graves, he again took these bodies out of their final resting place, having no regard for anyone, whether it be the bodies of adult men and women, or even the bodies of small children, because there were several bodies of dead babies and small children found in this man's disturbing collection. And as he again took these human remains out of these graves, he basically brought them back to his home and to a storage unit, and then went on social media, basically again looking to brag about his accomplishments and look to possibly go out here and capitalize on this as related to going out here looking to make money at the expense of the dead. Now, what this man did, again, is just absolutely sick, because, again, it shows complete indifference to human life and shows how depraved this guy is. I mean, this is, again, showing absolutely no respect for human life whatsoever. And this is something that some beta males do, because they become completely detached from people. And as they become detached from people, they don't respect people in life, and they don't respect them in death whatsoever. And because they have no respect for a person in life or death whatsoever, they basically again feel like they can do whatever they want to their bodies. And that's what this man was looking to do as he looked to create an online business on the bodies of those who had passed from previous generations. And that's what was really sick about this whole situation. This guy basically again took the bodies of these people as they were dead and resting inside of their graves and looked to go out here and make money on human skulls and human bodies. I mean, I know many of my goth viewers, again, they go out here and they have things like wet specimens, but those are things that usually come from hospitals and usually are things that have gone through a process. This guy basically was doing something extremely unethical as related to, again, looking to sell human bodies on the black market. Again, look to sell human skulls and human skeletons as a way to gain power as related to his sick fetish, and also looking to, again, go out here and profit from people. That's what makes this guy a complete monster who, if he is, again, taken to trial and convicted of all of these charges, will deserve the bone he will get as related to being in jail with Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles as they show him the rock hard 7 to 12-inch bones that they have in their pants and shove it in his front side and his back side as they trade him for the Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand orange drink, off-brand cranberry drink, off-brand kiwi strawberry drink, off-brand apple juice, off-brand ginger ale, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, Hunt's snack pack puddings, pork cracklings with hot sauce, beef jerky with cheddar cheese, beef jerky with mozzarella cheese, Velveeta cheese, beef summer sausage, the hot peppers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, doo-wop cakes. I mean, this guy will deserve everything he gets inside of the penitentiary, and as they go and turn his tight end into a wide receiver, he will realize he will get what he deserves as they turn him out inside of that jail. And as he's inside of that jail, getting his front side and his back side stuffed with big carbon rods and being stuffed with these big sausages from these big men inside of the penitentiary, that's where this guy will wish he was dead, because what he's going to go through will be hell on earth, worse than anything he did to those bodies at that graveyard. What this man is about to go through inside of that penitentiary is going to be a complete horror show, worse than what anything he put these people's families through by, again, desecrating their remains. And once they finish desecrating this dude's front side and his backside, Mr. Sprinkles will come in with a gleeful smile in spraying the front side and the backside of this dude with this special sauce. And after he glazes that face with that special sauce and the backside of the special sauce, he'll call all the guys from Cell Block D to come in and check out this dude's backside, looking like the inside of a Louisiana crunch cake. And that's where this guy will regret ever going to the graves of these people, because he had the freedom in life, but instead of appreciating the life that he had, basically went out here looking to go out here and go out here and destroy people's lives as they've died. I mean, this guy is a complete monster all around, because he had no regard for the dead. He had no regard for people's family members who have passed on to the other side. He's had no regard for anyone out here, and that's what makes him a complete monster of a man. Just like many of the beta males I talk about in videos, this was a case of, again, one of the sickest guys out here, because, again, this grave robbing just wasn't about money. It was about this guy getting power because he got off on being able to, again, say he had the power over people's lives as related to their bodies and taking them out of their resting places. That's what makes this man a complete monster. And this is the type of depraved behavior that beta males participate in, because beta males, again, it's all about power for them, because they basically are men who don't believe they have any power, and because they don't believe they have any power, they go looking to take power from those who they know can't fight back, and the dead can't fight you back. So these guys, again, since the dead can't fight them back, they look to, again, disgrace them in as they have passed. And that's what makes this guy, again, a completely sick monster, that's fitting a disturbing profile that continues to get worse as related to things, because not only are we seeing an increase in frequency of these crimes from these beta males, but we're also seeing that these crimes are getting to be more and more depraved. And as they get more and more depraved, we're seeing that many of these men basically are showing us what happens when you don't have anybody to teach you the sanctity of life in this world. When there's nobody there to teach you the sanctity of life in this world, you basically learn not to regard anybody's life. And that's what makes this guy, again, really one of the most twisted people I've ever talked about on this channel. And again, it just shows me how much worse the man crisis is getting, because when you don't have respect for the dead, then life is getting really worse in this country. When you don't have respect for the dead and you're going into their graves to, again, take their bodies out to sell them, that's a special brand of evil, as I see it, and shows me how twisted people are getting in this world as related to the love of many waxing cold, as the Bible has said, and clearly shows me that, again, there's something really wrong with this generation of men, a generation of men who are in crisis because they just don't understand how important it is to show respect for the dead. Now, if you want to learn to identify the behavior of beta males and the antisocial behavior they participate in, like the one I'm talking about in this video, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about the man crisis that's plaguing this country and getting progressively worse, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App so I can continue to stay on the air, letting everyone know how dangerous this man crisis is. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this spooktacular Spinsterella story. Pick up your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.